Okay, so now we just completed page 8 together, and you should work on page 12 and 13 on your own, which is the independent practice. I believe we did page 12 together in class, so page 13 on your own for independent. And when you turn to page 14, you're going to see this page I have up right here, which is the hot problems, higher order of thinking. I'd like to do these together, so I'll turn the camera off and we can focus on questions 11 to 15. Please make sure to copy them down exactly as I will, so that I know that you watched this video, and any additional information I put on there, smiley faces or stars, okay? Make sure you add them on there. Let's get started. Okay, for number 1, they're asking for real life examples of ratios. For example, find examples of the grocery item prices in a newspaper or on television or on the internet. Compare unit prices of 2 different brands of the same item. Explain which item is a better buy. For example, you can compare cell phone plans. How much do you pay for your cell phone? How many minutes do you get with, you could say, Movistar or with Digitel? You can pair them. You can also do at the grocery store. You might be able to buy 1 avocado for 1,000 bolivares, or you might be able to buy, let's say, 1 kilo of tomatoes for 1,000 bolivares. Which one would be the better buy? Okay, go ahead and write the ratio there. So that's up to you, and we will check 11 together. Now let's focus on 12. Okay, so you can see here on the side we have a little character named Seth, and Seth is trying to find the unit price. The unit price means the price of 1 for a package of blank compact disc CDs on a sale at 10 CDs for $5.49. But he's saying that 10 CDs divided by $5.49 is $1.82 each. What's his mistake? Well, clearly, you have to actually take the number that you're paying and divide it by 10 so that you can find each one. That's his mistake. So let's write that down. Okay, he should have divided $5.49 by 10. So that if you divide this number into 10, you get the price of 1 of each one. To get 0.549. Remember, when you divide a number by 10, you move the decimal place over to the left. The number becomes smaller. So it did. We moved the decimal place over. You see that? Or you could say 55 cents because we're rounding to the hundredth. 9 makes this number round to 5, so you get 55 each. Okay, go ahead and write that down and put a little star right there. Okay, well, actually, that's a very big star. That's better. Okay. Determine whether each statement is sometimes, always, or never true. Give an example. Okay, let's see. A ratio is a rate. Well, this is only sometimes. Okay, only sometimes. A ratio that compares 2 measurements with different units is a rate. For example, 2 miles every 10 minutes. This right here is a rate. It's showing us that for every 10 minutes we will have 2 miles, or we will run 2 miles every 10 minutes. That would be a rate, and it's also a ratio. But ratios are not always rates. That's why it's only sometimes. Please copy this down. The next statement says a rate is a ratio. That is always true. Okay, this one's only sometimes true. That a ratio is a rate is only sometimes true. But a rate is a ratio always. All rates are ratios. Every rate is a ratio because it is a comparison of 2 quantities by division. And finally, we're going to take a look at the last question here, justify conclusions. A 96-ounce container of orange juice costs $4.80. So 96 ounces for $4.88. That's a ratio right there. At what price should 128 ounces container be sold in order for the unit rate for both containers to be the same? Explain. So we have 96 over 480 equals 128 over X. We don't know what it's going to be, how much the price is going to be for 128. But if we continue with the ratio, it should look something like this. Your price should be $6.40. Why? Because the unit rate for the 96-ounce container is 5 cents per ounce. This is costing me 5 cents. If I get 96 for 480, that means it cost me 5 cents. Well, look at that, 96 and 48. You see that? This is half of this. Okay, so I get 5 cents per ounce. So 128 ounces would cost $6.40 because it's 128 times 5. And we get our 640. Please, boys and girls, if you didn't entirely understand everything that I wrote down in the answers, please pause the video, go back, and try to make sense of it. Read my answers carefully, read the questions carefully, and really try to make sense of it all. Don't just copy it down because you're not helping yourself, but just simply copying and not thinking about the answers we put on there. Really do yourself a favor and think logically about what I just wrote there for you. All right? So make sure you have all this written down so that I know you watched the video. See you in class.